Welcome back. Today, really interesting news in my house. I got myself the X-E4 and the 27mm f2.8. The X-E4 is at silver, and let's just unbox it, and then we'll be back here to give you my very first impressions on this. And here we go. You can see it in its shininess, in its coolness. I mean, this camera is lovely. It's small, it's compact, it's well built. The first impact is it's a sexy camera. I would define it as a sexy camera. It's a joy to see it, especially paired with such a small lens. It speaks to you. It tells you, hey, you can bring me everywhere. I'm never gonna let you down. So construction is really good. It feels sturdy. It's lightweight, but it's not plasticky, and it's you can still feel the heft to it. I miss something to grip my hands on, because while looking at it like this, it's super cool. On the other hand, when you're handling the camera, you feel that you're missing something, especially because all of us are used to something to grip on. So, and this brings you to use your palm a little bit too much trying to hold the camera. What I'm going to do is that I'm going to attach a wrist strap here in this newly designed strap connection. How do you call it? Okay, you see here, which, as you can see, it's different from the previous Fuji cameras. There was I can say, like just a small hole where you had to put that triangle stuff and then attach the strap to it. I've never loved that kind of system too much. I kind of prefer this. It's easier to handle, especially if you're changing straps, if you're using other stuff other than the original strap. I prefer this. It gives you more room to move, but again, it's a personal preference. One other thing that I can see from the first moment is that, as you can see, and as you probably already know, if you're looking at this video, you're already interested in this camera, and you know already about the lack of buttons and wheels and all of that. This camera doesn't have that many buttons, and it kind of makes sense. It's a small camera. You need to be able to handle it without pushing random stuff. And also the lack of a button over here, or moving the joystick over, kind of makes sense, because when you're holding the camera, you're holding it like this, and the thumb rests perfectly where there's nothing. But the lack of buttons, especially for someone like me who's coming from an X-T3, means that a lot of functions that I have ready at my hand, with just a button touch, it's not there anymore. So I had to rely a lot on the personalization of the buttons that I have. And what I did is I left the Q button over here at its original function. So it's going to serve as your Q button. I used this to set my face recognition on and off, because it's something that I do a lot. And I use the AF and exposure lock that I never used. I assigned it to the focusing mode. So by pressing this, I can easily go into the single focus, auto, continuous focus, or manual focus. On the other hand, and there's not that much, not that many buttons that you can assign to a function, you need to rely a lot on the swipe functions on the screen, which I've never used and I've never loved, but with a camera like this, you kind of have to. If you want to have more personalization, customization, you have to do it. And what I did is, with the swipe down, I activated the level, the electronic level, the advanced one. With the swipe up, I activate the selection of the focusing area, meaning single point, tracking, wide, all of that stuff, which I usually use in different moments. By swipe right, I get right into the white balance section, which is, as you probably know, through the Q button you can go only to preset settings. But if you want to customize your white balance, you need to get into the menu. And by doing that, by assigning it to the swipe right, I can easily get into it, because again, it's something that I do a lot. With the swipe left, I left what was already pre-programmed, which is the sport viewfinder. I'm gonna change it. I know. I just don't know what I'm gonna assign to that function just yet. But I know that I'm not gonna use this as a sport camera at all. It's not meant to do that. The card slot is not super fast, and this is not made for this. This is made for this, which means street photography, photography of people, something that it's not super fast, but requires you to have like establish some kind of connection with your subject. This is meant for this, and I kind of missed this kind of layout, such a rangefinder style layout, since I sold my X Pro 1 3 years ago, maybe 2 years ago. Then I moved to the X-T20, the X-T3, but for street photography purpose, this kind of thing, this half of my face being open to the people makes a lot of a difference. And this is what this camera is made for, and this is what I'm planning on using for. Even though this is a mini X-T4 for in several areas. Of course, it's not stabilized. Doesn't have all of the super high-end stuff that the X-T4 does, but it kind of performs very similarly. So this is a more capable camera than just a street photography camera. I can use it for video. I will use it for video. And so, yeah, these are my very first impressions. It is nice. There's a couple of things that I don't like missing the switch here for the autofocus or the EVF. I'm coming from the X-T3, and there's a lot of a difference between that one and this. This is smaller, and you have to stick your eye into it to be able to see it properly. It's not that it's bad, it's just it's small, and the eye relief is not super good. Other than that, I mean, it's sexy. Once you look at it, you just fall in love with it immediately. You know already that the battery is the same, the old one. It's not gonna win any long-lasting life contest, but it's gonna do its job. And as usually, Fuji does this freaking thing where the tripod mount is too close to the battery door. So just whenever you're on a tripod, you just need to. It's a hustle. Probably I'm gonna use an L plate whenever I plan on shooting on a tripod. Other than that, I mean, I like it a lot. Few words on the 27mm lens. It's pretty much the same size of the previous one, just maybe a millimeter longer, and it is clicky. You can see that. The aperture ring is really nice. I kind of like it a lot. It's more firm than other Fuji lenses. There's one thing. There's this lock over here, I hope you can see it. You see the red over here, orange over here? This is used whenever you're in auto aperture. You have to push it to get out of it, and this prevents you from getting surprises because you just moved it accidentally. So it's a nice thing to do. There's one thing that I don't like about it. The autofocus seems to be faster, and based on other reviews, I understand it's gonna be faster, but it's still noisy as it was the previous one. I would have expected with this upgrade of this lens to find something more silent, something more modern. I know maybe from the engineering standpoint, it couldn't have been a pancake lens anymore. I don't know, but I would have loved to see a more silent autofocus. Just a moment. Before we wrap it up, I just want to tell you a couple of things. One, in the kit, I didn't find the lens hood for the 27 millimeters. It was kind of a letdown. I would have expected to find it because it looks like it's part of the package for the lens sold alone. And of course I forgot to mention that this is weather sealed. The lens is weather sealed. But going back to the hood, it's not a big deal, but I would have expected to find it. It would have made sense to find it. Anyways, it is what it is. Going back to the camera, these two buttons, the menu button and display button, have a way different feeling compared to the others. They're way less tactile. You don't get that much of a feedback, and it's not a good feeling. I mean, maybe it was done for a reason. Maybe they don't want you to accidentally press them, so they recess them more, and there's not too much travel for the buttons to go on and off. I don't know, but it doesn't feel right. Anyways, it is what it is. They also removed the back wheel, the scrolling wheel. To me, it doesn't make too much sense. It wouldn't have hurt to have it. And if anything, if I had to remove one, I would have removed the front one just to have a cleaner look on the front. This is also more easy to use rather than the front one. Anyways, I knew that. I still don't like it. Don't like the idea. And last but not least, of course, the screen. The screen, you all know that they made it finally tiltable and front-facing like this, so that you can shoot selfies, you can shoot vlogging and all of that. Even though for vlogging, you got to remember that with a hot shoe, with a microphone mounted on the hot shoe, you're probably going to cover the majority of the screen, even though my expectation is that it's still going to be able to understand whether I'm framing it right or not. Of course, it's not going to be perfect framing. And I think also I'm going to be able to tell whether I'm focused or not. But we'll see. I'll test it out and I'll let you know. Other than that, thank you for watching this video. Let me know what you think about what I told you about the camera, about everything, and subscribe if you want to see more videos about this setup. I'm going to use this and together also with the 80mm f2, and just let me know, leave me a thumbs up, subscribe, just talk to me, tell me what do you think. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.